Welcome to the Burgundy Gold Knuckleheads podcast. As always, right over there is my main man, Reggie. What's up today, Reg?
What up, Doe?
I know. It feels good as we do this preview with back-to-back wins. I know that.
Yeah, man. It's been as they say, Victory Monday, 2 weeks in a row, and we're going into an Indianapolis game, which ironically we're the underdog. I don't know if you know that, Ken. We're the underdogs in this game, but
I was surprised. I was surprised. Yes.
yeah,
With all the positives and negatives and changes we can talk about on the Indy side. I was surprised. I expected us to be 2 points, 2.5 point favorite, 1.5, but I didn't expect us to be underdogs.
Well, if I'm being honest, I wasn't sure, and I didn't give it much thought. But when I heard it, I was like, really?
Yeah.
So again, I didn't care. It didn't really dawn on me. But once I heard it, I was a little bit surprised, taken back by it. But it's one of those things, man. I'm not big into gambling, so I don't understand how that all works. But you take a situation where Vegas puts out their odds, right? And the Vegas had the odds that Chicago would beat New England. And if you saw the pregame on ESPN and Monday Night Football, everybody, including yours truly, I said, man, I'm picking the Pats at home against Chicago, right?
Right.
And man, Chicago whooped them boys. Man, put 33 points on them. And I understand it's not the Tom Brady Patriots, but I would have figured Bill Belichick, New England Patriots at home against a struggling Chicago team. Hey man, give me Patriots all day. And man, not only did
give me any team all day over what we just got finished playing.
Right.
And
all of a sudden the Vegas had the Bears and they went out there and put up 33 points on them. So anyway, I say that to say all of that to say, they're giving Indianapolis the favorites, the nod, not very much, but the favorite in this game. And so I guess I'll take notice of that.
Yeah, there was a day that I did actually gamble a lot on the NFL. How people are successful with it in today's NFL, especially I'll include this year. It is a crapshoot. You better be very specific on what games you pick and try to find what you perceive to be mismatches from week to week. The days of picking 10 games and coming out 7 and 8 out of 10, those days don't seem to be common nowadays. Consistently.
Yeah. Well, like I say, I'm not a gambler, so I it doesn't matter to me. But but do you realize, man, when I was preparing for this podcast, we're in week 8.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I'm like, man, we played 7 games already into the season, and it doesn't feel like 7 games.
Time flies when you're having fun.
Well, we haven't had that much fun.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah.
But the fact that we're 7 games into the season already, man, it just seems like we were in week 1. Seems like 3 weeks ago, and yet it's been 7 weeks. So it's interesting that we're almost reaching the halfway point of the season already.
Right.
And here we are sitting at 3-4. Hopefully we can win and get back to 500 ball, man.
500. Yeah. I guess, as we're looking forward, if we can win this game, you're sitting at 500, and you're on the uptick, right? You got 3 in a row playing well. Not that we're going to go on a 10-game winning streak or anything like that.
Says who, Ken?
I'm not saying it can't be done. I'm just not projecting that.
All right. I won't be a homer, man.
Right. But it shows that once again Washington could potentially be stronger in the second half than the first half, because under Rivera we've started out slow 3 years in a row. And
that's true. And with the way the season has gone, fans have been kind of down on the team, including ourselves.
Absolutely.
And right now we're sitting at 3-4, and that's not a pretty record, but there's a huge collection of teams that are all sitting right around 3-4.
Right.
Teams that were supposed to be good that are not.
Except in our division. Except in our division.
Well, I understand, but only one team's going to win our division.
Right.
But with that being the case, my point is everybody's bunched up together, and being bunched up together, and we start getting into the late second half of the season, things are going to start happening. We already see injuries becoming a factor for teams, and just teams
even the Commanders.
Yeah,
right?
even us.
Yeah.
But teams will start to get into their identities and who they will ultimately be as the season goes on. And I guess it's a good thing to be part of the bunch. I guess is what I'm getting at here.
Right. Yeah, so, I agree. I think here, and I'm just going to go ahead from a talking point. If we win this week and we're 4-4, normally at this part of the season, 4-4, you're not where you'd like to be a little bit better, but in the NFC East, you're like, okay, we can still win this. Now at 4-4, all three teams are ahead of us by at least 2 games.
Correct.
Right? 2 games or more. So it's not that we can't catch them. It's that we need to take care of business in the division, and they're going to need to slip a little bit. And maybe we're just playing for a wild card. There's nothing wrong with that. Once you get in the playoffs, it doesn't matter.
Correct.
But especially if you're starting to play well. But it's definitely a flip of, because our division hasn't been this strong in quite a number of years. So it's a new spin in the NFC East.
I may be in the minority here, but I'm thinking the Eagles are going to come back down to earth. I think we still have to play the Giants twice, and we don't play the Cowboys until the last game of the season. Right. And lots can happen. I don't suspect us to make any trades. I for some reason don't think Ron Rivera and company are going to be involved in making any trades. I think they value draft picks. And so unlike some of the other teams that just seem to trade them away like it's nothing. So I don't think that we're going to make any trades. So I think we're going to ride.
Definitely not to get people.
Right. We're going to ride. We're going to ride out.
We may lose. We may lose one, but we're not getting any.
Agreed.
Yeah.
But that being the case, man, I think they're going to do this deal. The news that's floating around right now is teams are talking about offering Washington a day 2 pick for Deron Payne.
Oh, for Payne, huh?
Yeah. They're talking about word on the street in league circles is that Deron Payne could fetch a early day 2 pick. So we're talking second, third round pick. You and I talked about it, man. We'll put it here on air. If it came down to paying Montez Sweat or Deron Payne, shockingly, we both agreed that we would pay Deron Payne. And for those that are listening, we were very similar in our reasons, but I'll go ahead and give mine. My reason for paying Deron Payne over Montez Sweat. Montez Sweat has had an opportunity over the past 4 seasons to show that he's worthy of that big contract. And you can't just be a stud player when Chase Young is there. You need to be able to be a game changer or make some impact plays, whether Chase Young is playing or not, because that's the kind of money that you're going to want. That being the case, Washington has seemed to have done a really good job on the defensive line with Montez on one side and a rotation or James Smith-Williams, one guy, and Abada and Casey Toohill. So to me, I think the ceiling for Chase Young is still pretty high. So I would run my risk and go with Chase Young instead of Sweat and replace Sweat with those three guys I just mentioned: Hill, James Smith-Williams, and Abada. And let Montez walk or trade him, whatever you want to do. I would try to trade him more than anything.
Sure.
And then you run with it. Now I know some people are going to say, well, you got Mathis who's going to come back. But the guy's coming back off a major knee injury, and I don't know what that's going to be like because he played one game. Not even that.
I was going to say a quarter, maybe.
Yeah, he was like Fitzpatrick, right?
Yeah, literally, yes. On the positive side, he's got truly a full year to recover. But with that being said,
he should be ready come training camp.
Yeah, I mean, my hesitation on trading Payne at this point would be let me just say, I'm not doing it for a 3rd round pick, right? Because, and my reasoning for this is if Payne ends up getting a large contract with another team and we don't re-sign him, we're going to get a compensatory 3rd round pick for him anyway, just like we did with Kirk Cousins, right? We let Kirk Cousins walk away. And so, if he's signing a contract that's something like what Tim Settle did last year, you're not going to get anything. Maybe it's a compensatory 6th round pick or whatever. It's not a high pick, but if we think that he's getting a significant contract, Washington is already going to get a compensatory 3rd or 4th round pick. So I'm not trading him for another 3rd round pick. I'm going to trade him where it benefits me at least for a 2nd round pick. And obviously that team is going to trade him and they're going to want to re-sign him, right?
Correct.
Right. They're going to work out that whole entire deal with Washington and Payne's representatives.
Right.
So, we'll see how all that happens. Payne wasn't the name that came to my mind. I was thinking of Jackson. I don't know if anything's going to come through with that, but supposedly he wasn't happy. Washington was talking about it. Yeah. And then he kind of backed off and said, no, I want to be here. I don't know if that's just PR stuff, but that's the person that I thought when I said, one person, that's who I thought maybe.
No, I knew that's who you meant, but I was just pointing out that in addition to that, Deron Payne's name has been floating around because people know that he's on a 1-year deal. And of course, you can always franchise tag Montez Sweat if you wanted to, but we don't seem to do well with franchising people, so let's not even play around with it. If you know that you're not anywhere close on the money, then make the deal and move on. Let's not sit here and sour the player. He doesn't want to be, and have this whole nonsense going on again. Just, hey, we can't get there on money. Let's move on.
The dynamics change. Yeah, the dynamics change also on. Does Washington at this moment, do they think that they want Wentz back next year or not? Right. Cause that's, you're talking $26 million, 26, 28, somewhere in there. So if you're not bringing him back, that means more than likely, my guess would be that they're going to look towards the draft because there's more quarterbacks this year than this past year. And that's not that you're talking about a fraction, a third of that $28 million a year contract. So that gives you money to use elsewhere, whether it's on Payne, whether it's on Sweat, whether it's on whatever, offensive line that we have. So I'm sure they're doing that mental calculation and manipulation of where they need to be next year. Even now, even though the season isn't over.
Well, let me say this, which is funny and ironic. Taylor Heineke is the linchpin to what Washington does this year and next year. And what I mean by that is, go ahead. If his play is good over the next 4 weeks, 3 weeks at this point, I don't think Ron goes back to Carson Wentz. Which means if he doesn't go back to Carson Wentz, then Carson Wentz is not coming back next season.
Correct.
Which means they're into the draft, to your point, looking at a guy or Sam Howell or whatever they're going to do, but that means the end of Carson Wentz. If Taylor Heineke doesn't play well, we'll probably see Sam Howell, but I don't know that fully means the end of Carson Wentz. And again, so now they go the other direction potentially. But I'm not so sure. I shouldn't say I'm not so sure. So at the end of the day, I think Carson Wentz, man, I'm just struggling today. Taylor Heineke's play over the next 3 weeks is going to dictate the direction this franchise goes. And ironically, it's the guy who's undrafted and the guy that just keeps fighting and scratching and clawing his way into situations here on this team. And he's about to have a huge hand in the direction this franchise goes.
Absolutely. I agree 100%. I sent you a text earlier today and
yeah, you didn't reply, by the way.
I didn't see.
All the people know. Ken didn't reply to me.
Hold on. I'm gonna look it up right here because I didn't see that you gave me a reply. Let me look here.
Let the people know.
No, I didn't get it. I didn't get it. I made an observation, and I'll let everybody say what the observation is, and I can show you my phone here.
Okay, all right, I believe you.
But I put observation. Taylor Heineke has replaced 3 quarterbacks in Washington who never played again, and it could be a 4th.
And my response back to you was which 3?
Honestly, I didn't get it. Didn't come through.
I believe you. I believe you.
And it would be. One was, I mean, it's people that are on the team that didn't play, right? So you got Alex Smith.
Okay.
You got Haskins.
Okay.
You got Fitzpatrick.
Okay.
And potentially Carson Wentz.
All right.
So a little kind of, I don't know if that's trivia there for you, but something that you kind of, I mean, you got this guy who comes out of nowhere, and not all those. I mean, obviously there was some injuries along there, but if he comes in, you're going out the door one way or the other, right?
Once Taylor suits up, man, that's it. End of your career in Washington.
He's a career killer.
That's it. Done. You don't want Taylor on the field. After that, you're done.
Yeah,
writing's on the wall, man.
But
well, ironically, this brings us to Taylor going into his second start against the Colts this week. And I don't think many of us, maybe one of us, was not prepared for the storyline. We thought this was going to be the Matt Ryan, Carson Wentz Bowl, Jim Irsay versus Dan Snyder Bowl. And but it turns out, man, Carson Wentz nor Matt Ryan are playing, right? These guys are at the center of this trade, the two of them, and yet neither of them will be playing on Sunday. Now, Carson Wentz obviously is not playing due to injury, but Matt Ryan has been benched, right? Huge storylines, man. 2 number 4s, Sam Ehlinger and Taylor Heineke will both be starters on this game, and I don't think anybody saw that coming. It's going to be interesting. I'm pretty sure the media would be all over the return, the not return of Carson Wentz. And the fact that after everything that Jim Irsay said about Carson Wentz, and he just sung the praises of Matt Ryan was benched.
Right.
People got to understand, Matt Ryan has been benched in Indianapolis. This is the guy that was supposed to do all of the things that Carson Wentz was not to do or was not able to do. He was supposed to be the guy that Carson was not able to be, and yet they have benched the guy. And so that is the big storyline, in my opinion. It's not that it was Carson and Matt. It's the fact that the guy that was supposed to come and show Carson what it was like to play on this team has been benched. And they're going with the second-year guy who's never started in an NFL.
Yeah, it's from a Washington perspective, you like, it's kind of 2 things here. One, you like playing against a rookie quarterback. I don't care if he was the number 1 pick or if he was a 6th round pick, like Sam was, but there's also a little mystery, right? Just like
Taylor,
when Taylor started out, there was mystery, and and so
There's
preparing
no
for
tape
him,
on the guy.
right? You're going back to look at a lot of college stuff,
Yeah.
and try to find out his strengths and his weaknesses and how you think they're going to play. Yeah, they're probably going to play a little bit conservative, but plays start breaking down and he starts moving with his legs, and that's when quarterbacks, I'll say no name quarterbacks from most of the fans' perspective can become stars, right?
Yes.
Hey, we all looked at each other and like, who's this Heineke kid? Holy cow! Did you see him hit that pylon and
Right.
other moves that plays that he was making? Yeah.
Yeah, I
So
don't disagree. And so hopefully that if you and I sitting here can have that mindset, I would hope that Jack Del Rio and the coaching staff would say, hey, we need to be prepared in case this guy starts moving around, because he is a version of Taylor Heineke. He's not a big
right,
quarterback. I don't know what his arm strength is like, but he ran a lot when he was at the University of Texas. He didn't
right,
run around like just for the sake of running like Lamar Jackson at Louisville.
right,
He used his legs in order to extend plays and escape pressure. So he is basically, we're going to be playing a version of ourselves at the quarterback position in Sam Ellinger and the Indianapolis Colts. So hopefully that they're going to use our guys to spy him a little bit or keep an eye on him and maintain that rush lane discipline on the defensive line and be able to contain this kid in the pocket and just hope that he makes some mistakes. The flip side of this, you're making the point of playing a young guy could be a good thing. The downside is when we continue to play unproven backups type of players, we do not get the respect nationally. It goes
right,
back to the year we played well and everyone talked about how great our defense was, but that was the year of the backups, right? That was the year we were playing teams that the starters were injured and or rookie quarterbacks. And so our defense feasted on that. And it was like fool's gold. And we went into last season, the year 2 of that, and we started playing better quarterbacks, and our defense went all the way to like 30th. So
right,
here we are playing a Justin Fields, not very good yet. Now
right.
we got Sam Ellinger, unproven, right? So what's going to happen? All right. The Aaron Rodgers, beating Aaron Rodgers was good. But even then, the narrative is it wasn't so much what we did. It was that the Packers aren't very good.
Right.
When the Cowboys play them, the Giants play them, Philly plays them. Those are, other teams play the Packers. Man, that's a great win by the opponent.
Right.
But when we play them, it's not that we play well. It's the narrative is going to be, well, Green Bay is not playing good. So
and part of that is we've been all over the place this year, right?
Oh, for sure.
So it's a legitimate. If I'm on the outside looking in and I'm not focused on the improvements the Commanders make, you see games like our game against the Bears, and you don't say, well, the defense did that to the Bears. You say, man, the Bears are just bad. And same thing with Washington's offense. Washington's just bad. Well, did you give the Bears any credit for it? I mean, we saw it, and we saw the problems that Washington had on their own. But yeah, it's
my point being is when we win these games, it's always going to be, but it was against a guy making his first start. It's against a Chicago Bears team that has no offensive line. They have no weapons. It's just what's the kid name? Justin Fields. They have no wide receiver. So that's what I mean. It's always a but behind our game. So
and there's going to be, until we beat a team that has the starting quarterback that we would consider a playoff team, right? And we're going to see that over the next few weeks. Not the Colts, but we play Minnesota and Philly over the next 4 weeks.
Yes. Agreed. And that's the point that I'm making. So the good news is it's a young quarterback. The bad news is if we come out with the victory, not much credit will be given. Is what I'm getting at. So
yeah. And I will say, as I was looking at Indy and what they were doing this year, they're not a bad team. What are they? 3-3-1, I believe.
Correct.
And one of the things they have, and offensively, they've moved the ball, but when I kind of peeled back some of the stuff and started looking at it, it's not that I'm not. I am still surprised that they benched Ryan. Don't get me wrong, but a couple of things that they kind of stick out to me, and my guess is all this could be blamed on Ryan. Is he was 10 touchdowns to 9 interceptions, right? That's a lot of interceptions at this point of the game. I'm sorry, at this point of the season. And then one of the things that really kind of caught me was there's a stat on where the ball's thrown throughout the on the field.
Okay.
And they only label it right, left, and center, and they'll do that for short passes and they'll do that for deep passes.
Okay.
When I looked at that, their short passes account for 91% of all their passes. 91. They only
Wow.
he was only going deep or stretching the field 9% of the time. So that's even attempts, right? So it's not opening up the offense. You're throwing
He was
interceptions.
averaging 5.9 yards a pass. So
Right.
so to your point, they were not going downfield
Right.
with Matt Ryan for whatever the reasons were. It was a short passing game for sure.
Yeah, a lot of check downs, a lot of crossing routes. Those are the decisions that he was making. My guess it was on him making those decisions as opposed to the offensive coordinator, or they wouldn't have benched him. So we shall see, and I'm sure Sam hears that in his ear and is going to take some chances at throwing it downfield and trying to open it up.
Go ahead, Sam.
Yeah,
Go ahead, Sam.
And make that mistake, right? If Montez and crew can put pressure on him and force him to fling it, then there's an opportunity.
Go ahead, Sam. I want you to go ahead and throw it downfield. Don't be the anti-Matt Ryan, man, and throw the ball downfield. Let's see.
Yeah. Another thing, as we're talking about stats and talking about Indy here offensively, is we know that they rely on the running game, right? They what's his name? Running back,
Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah. He's their workhorse without a doubt. But what stands out more is they run 90% of their running plays between the tackles. They pound the ball literally right behind the center, behind the guards and tackles. They go outside only 10% of the time.
Okay.
Which is a crazy amount. You're going to see him just hitting that hole. So I suspect that a lot of time, we're going to potentially play less of the Buffalo nickel, play more 3 linebackers to be able to plug those holes, because they have been more of a running offense this year and last year. So it's just again, a couple observations of what we might be seeing.
No, that's interesting. I didn't realize that they ran Jonathan Taylor up the middle like that. But that feeds right into our defense, which is where we're a little strong up the middle with Payne, Allen, and those guys. So hopefully they'll continue to do that on the defensive side, and that'll allow Holcomb and Jamin Davis to do their thing. Right now, Holcomb is. I forgot to look at his stats, man, but at the rate he's going, he could lead the league in tackles. So because Holcomb and Jamin Davis obviously defensively have improved, and Holcomb has quietly put together a very, very good season so far. So hopefully they'll keep him busy, and they'll be able to get after it and keep Jonathan Taylor from going off. I mean, I understand that Jonathan Taylor is not Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry he got 100 yards, but it took him 30 carries to get there.
Sure.
So if they want to run Jonathan Taylor like that because they have a young quarterback making his first start and they just want to pound the ball, again, that's going to feed right into I guess I want to use this term loosely, but our strength.
Right.
So let's do it, man. Let's get it.
Yeah. I mean,
Let's get it.
you brought up Jamin Davis, and it's a little bit of a coincidence that the last couple of weeks we see Jamin Davis making plays, right? He's not a superstar out there, but we see him making plays, making tackles, covering people out in the flat and making tackles right away, not missing tackles. And all of a sudden our defense is looking a whole lot better. You know, and I'm not saying that everybody else is not stepping up their game as well, but one of the most notable persons, absolutely it is. But it doesn't go unnoticed that as Jamin Davis has started making plays, our defense also is playing better. You know, I think he's naturally getting in position, going with the flow, reading the plays and just going. Right?
But you also don't see our defense giving up the big plays. Right. It seems to be a lot better communication. Guys are in coverage. But there's a few things, and yes, it is absolutely great to see Jamin Davis's name called on Sunday.
Yeah.
As opposed to, did he play? How many snaps did he get? Because we never heard his name, for sure.
Yeah, we had that a good bit last year and a little bit earlier this season. But
for sure.
Yeah, we definitely from a fan's perspective and a Knuckleheads perspective, we see him making a bigger impact on the defense. So yeah.
That's it, man.
What else you got?
I got nothing, man. I know I'm ready for Sunday.
Yeah, I think
keep it rolling.
Well, and I don't know if you have anything in specific, but a couple things that I wanted to talk about, and you can chime in on this or add to it as well.
Okay.
Based off, and this is going to be based off of what we've actually discussed, right? Of a few things that we need to do to come out with a win on Sunday. First of all, we already talked about it. We need to make the rookie quarterback look like a rookie quarterback, right? I think our defense has been playing well enough that could potentially be a good thing. And to piggyback on that, Indy is number, I want to say 30th or 31st in the number of turnovers so far this year. So granted, Matt Ryan, a veteran, you wouldn't expect him to throw 9 interceptions, but you could potentially see a rookie quarterback throwing that kind of percentage. So put him into a bad position and have him force some bad throws or hold on to the ball too long for a strip sack, something like that. Get the quarterback to play like a rookie quarterback and not only make mistakes period during the game, but potential turnovers. That's kind of a 2-in-1 key, but things we need to do there.
So let me translate that.
Go ahead.
Let's not put this kid in the Hall of Fame first start, right?
Yeah.
Make him look like an inexperienced quarterback. Gotcha.
Yeah.
I agree with you 100%, Ken.
And the other, only one other thing I think that if we do these two things, number one, make him look like a rookie quarterback, potentially win the turnover battle. It's kind of a 1A situation. And the other side is something we haven't done all year, even with Taylor Heineke last week. I mean, when in the second half, Washington behind Heineke scored their first 3 times in the second half, their first 3 possessions in the second half, right?
Okay.
That's what we need to do in the first quarter. We need to score early. Washington all season has not done well early. We know that we've gotten, a couple games we got behind by 20 plus points.
Yep.
And you're just not going to win those games. If you can score early, especially on a team like Indy, who at this point hasn't been a high explosive offense, it changes the dynamics of what they have to do.
Their game plan.
And if we can get ahead and put the ball again, now you're putting the ball in the rookie's hands to have to make plays plus the defense. we got to score early. We got to score early.
I agree 100%. And Scott Turner, I hope you're listening, because Kenny J over here is telling you the blueprint, the game plan to go and to Indianapolis and win this game. He's telling you. So, Scott, I hope you're listening. Ken is telling you what to do.
I mean, and Taylor, you can't go 1 for 7 to start out, right? We need some drives.
I'm gonna chalk up last week's first start of the game is Rust. Rust getting back out there, the real bullets, getting his feet back under him, all of that. And then once he got comfortable again, he turned it on. But to your point, I need you to come out right away doing this, Taylor, because although this year we've started out slow, we saw this all last year. Right, you were at the helm under center for most, if not all, 17 of those games. So I need that to be in the rearview mirror, Taylor. So you can go ahead and get you some blue and white Jordans, get you another 125K.
That's right.
Right in the bank. You go up here, you win this game in Indianapolis, and you get you some blue and white Jordans. Okay, that's what we want for you, man.
Exactly.
That's what we want for you.
And we've talked about it before. Get Terry involved, get McKissick involved, get Samuel involved, get these weapons. Don't focus in on. I know Taylor goes to McLaurin a lot, and it's hard not to, right? They got a good connection. They trust each other, but let's get everybody else involved also. Find those mismatches and just look like a productive offense. That's what we're anticipating this year. We weren't going to be high flying offense, but we're going to be a productive offense, and we just haven't seen that enough this year at all.
I think the game plan this week will be very similar to the game plan against Green Bay. I think we're going to try to establish the run. I think they're going to run Brian Robertson. I think they're going to continue with the Antonio Gibson, and then try to get the ball into the receivers' hands and try to have a balanced offense to try to win this game. I can't imagine them trying to have Taylor Heineke throw 40 times. If they do, that's a recipe for disaster. So again, I think they're going to try to run the ball. And listen, if you can get between Robinson and Antonio Gibson 30 carries for 130, 40, 50 yards like we did last week against Green Bay, hey man, recipe for success. Let's do it. And force, because I suspect, or at least you would expect, watching the game, that Sam Ellinger will struggle early and force some 3 and outs, and if we can have some sustained drives and force their defense to be on the field a little bit, again, that's one more reason that is in our favor and could go towards us winning this game. So.
Yeah, I think last week, I forget the number off the top of my head, but we had, I want to say it was 76, 77 offensive plays. That was the most of the season. And we need to repeat that, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
We need to, and however you mix and match it, but we need to have 70 plus offensive plays. That means we have drives. It's keeping the defense off the field. It's getting them rest. And that also means defensively that you probably having 3 and outs or maybe 1 first down and out, and balls back in your hands. Every time you have it, it's an opportunity to score.
And last week it was 30 carries combined between Terry and Robinson. 30 carries, 132 yards. That was a 4.4 yard average.
Yeah,
you'll take that.
I'll take it, and let's add 2 or 3 more runs onto that. So
I like it, man. I like it.
Yeah,
let's do it.
Is it time, Reg?
I think it's time, Ken. I think it's time.
I think it's time. I need to get that.
We'll get our
drop.
Music going.
I need to get that drop on my phone or figure out how to add it on. But it's what's your name? What's your number? Time.
It is.
Reg, go ahead. You got it first this week.
Okay, I'll go first.
Okay.
You could probably tell a little bit by some of the things I've already said here on this game. But I'm going to start out, man. My number is going to be a 7.5, brother. 7.5. I don't care what Vegas say.
I like it.
I don't care what Vegas say. We're 7.5. That's how confident I am that we're going to win this game.
Okay.
I think, again, it'd be a little bit of a repeat from last week. I think all things considered, you check off all the boxes. For the most part, they all favor Washington. And if they go up there and just look competent playing this game, competent meaning don't get on here on the offensive side, start holding, getting penalties,
Right.
giving up sacks, like we did against Philly, and just play competent football, we win this game. We win this
Yeah.
game. And even if Sam Ellinger has a good day, I think defensively we play well. Offensive line continues to improve like they have the past few weeks. Don't go in here and get 9 penalties for 100 yards, that kind of stupid stuff. We win this game. So I feel good about it. 7.5, brother.
I like it. I like it. I got a lot of the same feelings that you do on this. One of them that you kind of mentioned several minutes ago was this is Heineke's second game as opposed to his first game, right? He's the rust is off, the timing of live NFL football rather than practice football. Took him a quarter. Unfortunately, it took him a quarter and a half, is midway into the second quarter before he finally felt that speed and that rhythm. And because of the defense at the time kept Washington in the game until Washington could get into a scoring rhythm and put some points up on the board to pull out the game.
Right.
Again, defensively at the end of the game, Green Bay was coming on and trying to make a push, and they held tight, right? They it was closer than what we wanted, and that's just Washington football. But when it came down to it, they tightened up and won the game. So we talked about it before. It was a team win, and for whatever reason, man, the team just loves to rally around Taylor. You could see it in the locker room afterwards. You could see the statements that they made.
They did. We
We
still want to know your number, Ken.
Yeah, he's not a top 10 quarterback, but he still has an it factor, which is just crazy.
I think everybody sees that, and we're all baffled by it a little bit.
Yeah,
I think.
And just to my number has changed since talking, and since
what?
And since you gave it a 7.5. Is that what you gave it? Go ahead, Reg. Give him my number. Give the fans my number. What's my number?
I have no idea what your number is.
7.6. It's got to be one more than yours. It's got to be one more than yours because I got some confidence this week.
So what was your number?
I was debating on between 7 and 7.5. I didn't know which one. I was like 7.5. Then when you gave 7.5, and I started talking about it, even myself more, I'm like, I got to go one more than Reggie. I got to go one more.
I don't know. That's scary, man. That's scary.
That's just knucklehead logic right there.
All right. Hey, I'll take it. That means you're confident about it. So we'll take it.
Yeah, I'll be it. We've been shocked with Washington, right? You is one of those things that you should never bet on Washington, positive or negative, because you just don't know.
They can go in this game and lay a big old egg on this thing, but
right.
But no, man, we got a win streak going, Ken. I think positive, brother.
And even like I said 3 weeks ago when they lost, and then they played better, and then they played better. We've seen improvement. We all can agree that this improvement has not been nearly as fast as what it should have been after week roughly 3.
Correct.
But we are seeing improvement on all phases. The offensive line is getting a little bit better. The defense is better now against the run. All of a sudden, the secondary is looking pretty good. The receivers last week, more receivers got involved. Even with Taylor, went downfield some.
Yep.
We thought that would be less. It was a little bit less, I think, than when Wentz was playing, but he was still going downfield with some success. So all that being said, I think we're going to play even a little bit better. Indy is struggling in the midst of struggling in this quarterback change. They're looking for a spark because they know that they don't have what it takes to be successful throughout this year. And so if we can make the rookie quarterback look like a rookie quarterback, I think we're definitely going to come out ahead.
Well, does this change your number? Jacksonville has 3 wins, Ken, and they beat Kansas City.
Right?
Does it change your number?
No.
All right, mine
Wait,
either.
what's
I just wanted to see if it changed your mind, since they can put up some points and score.
Yeah, they can. Yeah,
but let's not do it this week.
No. And if they thought that Ryan and the team had that in him, they would have left him in the game. Right?
Agreed.
I mean, to your point, they have had a few games where they put up 30 couple points, but I haven't watched the game, so I don't know if that was how much the defense had involved in that versus turnovers versus whatever else. Clearly, they're not going downfield.
Right. I'm not worried. So, but that's all we got, man. Unless you got anything else, Ken, we're gonna sign off and let the people get back to whatever they were doing. We appreciate everybody tuning in, listening. Whether you listen to us on all the social media platforms from the audio version, we appreciate you. If you're looking at us on YouTube, we want to say what's up to you. You get to see your boys on the face here and watching us in our habitats. But we appreciate you tuning in on YouTube as well. So that's what we got. Let's go get this win, Washington. And we'll be back with a post game. Hopefully it's a good as we head into Victory Monday once again for the 3rd week in a row. So again, we appreciate everybody. Thanks for tuning in. And until next time, peace out.
Hit us up on Twitter, Knuckleheads. Peace out.